Hey, how's it going, guys? Mr. Boss for the win here, and in today's Red Dead Redemption 2 video, we are going to be getting revenge on the KKK. So this is one of the funniest interactions that I've had in Red Dead Redemption 2, just because Rockstar has made this clan look like a bunch of dummies. Like, the things they do are so stupid, and it's so funny, and I'm going to show you guys all three interactions and their locations as well. So the first interaction has to happen at night, and it's located just north of Rhodes. And you'll actually find them in the woods, and it almost looks like they're like celebrating or honoring a new member. And what happens after that is just hysterical. So take a listen to this right now.
Because we are here today for a very special occasion. It is imperative that we reestablish sanity and supremacy before it is too late. Our numbers are waning, thanks to the fools in Congress and their ludicrous ideas.
If you're gonna watch, keep it quiet. The Supreme One's
But
talking.
today, we grow one stronger as we anoint a new brother into our sacred cause. Please step forward and kneel. Do you choose to accept the light?
Yes, sir. Yeah. Oh, here we go. Thank you very much. All right.
Come on. Let
There we go.
the eternal light shine. Where y'all going? Come back! Come back! Who are you? You look like a ghost. You keep away from me.
So as you guys saw there, while one of the members is lighting up this cross, his robe catches on fire too. All the other members scatter except for one who tries to put out the fire, who is lit on fire himself. So both those dummies catch on fire, and the Grand Master, I guess it would be called, the guy in black, he like looks at me and basically says, "Why am I being so disrespectful?" I tie him up because I have plans to deal with him later, and I actually wanted to go loot both of those guys. If you actually loot the Grand Master, he has some meeting notes. If you loot one of the guys who caught on fire, there's a letter called Letter to Pa. So I wanted to inspect both of those. So the letter says, "Dear Pa, I'm sorry I left the house in such a huff. For that I must apologize, but the thing is you're wrong. No offense. I simply do not care what Jesus or anyone else says. I am a student of science, and as such, and having read a lot into the subject, I have to assert my position again that commingling between the races is not merely wrong, but also dangerous. But to be quite clear, this is not a position, but a scientific fact. I have read all the research. Look at big cats. There are tigers and lions and leopards and things, and they are all different. So that sort of proves it. The same with trees. There's more than one kind of tree or colors. There's red and blue and so forth. So it is with races. White people like us to dominate and others to do work to which they are suited. This is science. I am done with school. I am sorry about the money you spent, but the place is full of fools. I am heading out west. I will make my fortune there and prove my theories correct. I am not an arrogant blowhard, as you so rudely put it, but a man concerned with saving the human race. I'm sorry we have parted on such terms, but I am afraid I have no patience for fools, and to hear you, Mother, and Teddy speak, well, I felt nothing but shame. And you all educated and white, shame on you. Well, I am a man of destiny and I plan to prove it. Nothing will stand in my way from forming a white utopia full of people just like me." So that right there is pretty indicative of a letter from someone from the KKK. Let's just say that. And then if you actually read the chapter notes, it says Lemoyne State Chapter, quarterly meeting minutes, attendees, 6. All official titles to be changed soon. Requires new meeting. As the member formerly known as Secretary Senior, I shall now be known as Grandiose Scribe Most. My assistant will be known as Grandiose Scribe Least. Senior Warlock will be known as Grand Satire, I think. Other job titles up for discussion at meeting requests and above. Job title of Kaiser remains banned as per of August last. Question for open discussion: is there a way to make the robes less flammable? You probably should have thought of that before you had this meeting. Acceptable food for grand satyrs, surprise birthday, French, possible Spanish, definitely no. Membership dues, 87% under quarterly target again. Ideas for new initiation need to be canvassed from members. Tarring and feathering was not popular with wives. Need to focus on recruitment drive again. Need to find all the brilliant and talented men in the community who have something to give our cause. Discussion point: are there any brilliant and talented men left? Wooden crosses are heavy and expensive, as you'll see later. Other religious symbols to burn as a demonstration of our deep religiosity. Female members still affirm no. Still need a brilliant, talented men who want to wear hoods and discuss eugenics in their spare time. Somebody needs to review that pamphlet written by Norris Forsyth. Has anyone read it? I think that's actually a guy in Saint Denis. Disappointed attendance numbers again. Members who fail to attend will be punished. Most Grand Scribe Wesley P. Kellett. So another fun fact: by interrupting this meeting by the KKK, you actually get honor points for that. Now, I ended up letting this guy go at first because I didn't want to mess up any of the lore of the other meetings. Like, I didn't know if I gunned that guy down, would I cancel out the other two encounters? Turns out the answer is no. Trust me, we'll get our revenge a little bit later. Encounter number 2 actually happens during the day, and this is going to be just north of Flatneck Station. And you'll encounter these 3 people trying to lift a cross, and needless to say, it's pretty funny.
All right, come on, boys. Get your backs into it. Use your legs. That's what you have them for. For Pete's sake. Nope, put your hands higher and push. Have some respect. Just leave me be. This is insanity. Oh, no! You know who's watching? God is watching.
So the 2 KKK members tried to lift a cross, and it was too heavy, and it fell, and it crushed them. If that's not karma, I don't know what is. That has to be one of the funniest sequences of all time. And just like last time, I ended up tying up like the guy in black, the Grand Master, whatever the case is. This time they didn't have any, letters on them or anything like that. But I wanted to make sure that this guy did not get off scotch-free. His friends got crushed by a cross. So I wanted to see what I could do with this guy. And I honestly thought the best result would be to tie him to the train tracks and wait for a train to come and run him over. But the only problem with that is the train schedule must have been on the other side of the map. So I was getting very impatient of just having this guy sit on the train tracks. So we improvised a little bit. Instead of having him run over by a train, we hung him off the side of the train tracks. And I don't know what happened. I don't know if I gave him too much slack on the rope, but I'm pretty sure he hit the bottom and then hit a rock or something like that. Because, it worked. We dragged him off the side of the cliff, but he wasn't alive when we kind of got to a certain point. So I'm thinking I must have done something wrong, or again, I ended up making him hit a rock or something along those lines. But either way, that was very satisfying, and that is the second encounter with the KKK. Our third encounter with the Klan takes place just southwest of Valentine, and this is another hilarious encounter of just the idiots that apparently these guys are recruiting. So apparently they're having another meeting in the woods, and as you can expect, it goes horribly wrong.
25 people here.
Patience.
Nobody here, dang it, this is a lost cause.
Careful.
Man.
That's dangerous.
Yeah, assholes.
Jeez.
I'm sorry. Oh, Jesus, did the ropes go? Run for its friends.
So those dummies drop a torch, and once again, it catches them on fire. How flammable are these idiots? They keep catching on fire, and why do they just play with this. You'd think after a while they would learn their lesson, but I was not about to let those 2 other members escape. They needed to meet their ultimate fate. And I will say, for being pretty dumb and not safe with fire, these guys are fast. I had a hard time catching up with them. I eventually did by the river, and I wanted to make sure that both of them did not escape. So I was able to eventually hog tie both of them, but I ran into a problem. I could only carry one of them on the back of my horse. What was I going to do? So what I did for member number 1 was I pulled out my favorite weapon for dismembering, the semi-automatic shotgun. I dropped him on the ground. I went in first person, aimed for the head, and in a matter of seconds, that guy no longer had a brain. It just did not exist, but I had to get rid of the body, so we got to dump that in the river. Unfortunately, I'm not a good murderer, as the body literally ran to the shore, so that didn't work all that well. I went back to inspect the site of where our 2 friends before ended up not having success lighting a cross on fire, and they were burned to a crisp. They didn't have really anything left of them. So I was just left with my 1 member. And I wanted to have 1 get run over by a train. I was not satisfied by what happened earlier. So that's what we were going to do, gosh darn it. We were going to have a Ku Klux Klan member run over by a train. And what we did was we basically just waited for a train to arrive at Emerald Station. And we put him on the tracks, and we just waited for the train to come by. And I wanted to get this view so perfectly that I didn't even bother getting off the tracks. But guess what? We got good honor for killing him. And that's another thing to keep in mind as well. You will get tons of good honor if you kill the KKK. Like, Rockstar really reward you for messing these guys up, which obviously is amazing. And I love the way they portrayed them as a bunch of, you know, fire safety idiots that aren't strong enough to lift up their own wooden crosses. I just think that's absolutely perfect. So that right there is my experience of getting revenge on the KKK in Red Dead Redemption 2, and those are the 3 encounters that you can have with them in game. As always, I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments down below. Have you run into the Klan in Red Dead Redemption 2 yet? If so, what did you do with them? Were you creative like me, or did you just gun them down on the spot? Let me know your thoughts, opinions, and more in the comments down below. If you did go on to enjoy this video, though, a like rating would, of course, be awesome. And subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new, or you like daily Red Dead Redemption 2 videos like this. With all the way, guys, like I said, thanks so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.